In 1984, 2.5 million fans bought tickets to see Michael Jackson on the Victory Tour. They came to hear one song, the song that made him the most famous person on Earth. The song with the 14-minute music video that changed MTV forever. They came to hear Thriller. Michael Jackson never performed it. Not once during 55 sold-out shows. The real reason stayed hidden for decades. It wasn't about the sound, it wasn't about choreography, it was about religion, family pressure, and a choice that would haunt him for years. This is the story of the song Michael Jackson couldn't perform and what it cost him to finally break free. By July of 1984, Thriller had sold over 30 million copies worldwide. The music video had basically saved MTV from bankruptcy. Everyone expected Michael to perform it on tour. The set list included everything else from the album: Billie Jean, Beat It, Wanna Be Startin' Something. All the hits were there except one, the title track. The song that defined his career was missing. According to band members, Michael said it didn't sound right live. Without Vincent Price's voiceover, without the sound effects, without the production magic, Thriller felt flat. That was the official story. But fans who attended the shows knew there was something else. Multiple journalists reported a different reason. Michael Jackson was still a Jehovah's Witness in 1984, and the Jehovah's Witnesses hated Thriller. The Thriller music video premiered on December 2nd, 1983. Michael transforming into a werewolf, dancing with zombies, rising from the dead, horror, occult imagery. Everything the Jehovah's Witnesses considered satanic. Church elders confronted Michael within weeks. They told him the video violated their beliefs. They demanded he destroy it. Michael panicked. 2 weeks before the world premiere, he called his lawyer, John Branca, and told him to destroy all copies. Branca refused. He locked the footage in his office safe. Michael locked himself in his room for days, refusing to eat, caught between his career and his faith. The compromise was a disclaimer. White text on a black screen stating, "Due to strong personal convictions, I wish to stress that this film in no way endorses a belief in the occult." Michael also published a statement in Awake, the official Jehovah's Witness magazine, in May of 1984. He wrote, "I'll never do a video like that again. I have blocked further distribution of the film. There's all kinds of promotional stuff being proposed on Thriller. But I tell them, no, I don't want to do anything on Thriller. No more Thriller." That statement was published while the Victory Tour was being planned. It explained everything. Michael didn't want to do the Victory Tour at all. After Thriller, he was the biggest solo artist in the world. He didn't need his brothers, but his family was struggling financially. Joe Jackson, their father, saw an opportunity. According to Marlon Jackson, it took their mother, Catherine, and intense family pressure to convince Michael to agree. Michael made the tour as difficult as possible. He stayed in different hotels than his brothers. He flew private while they flew commercial. He refused to rehearse songs from the Victory album. The Victory Tour didn't include a single song from the album it was named after. And during the tour, Michael did something revealing. According to LaToya Jackson's biography, he hired someone whose sole task was to locate a Kingdom Hall in every city so he wouldn't miss a single Jehovah's Witness meeting. He also invited Jehovah's Witness elders to attend concerts to verify he wasn't performing anything that violated their beliefs. No sexually suggestive moves, no occult-related visual themes, no Thriller. 55 concerts. 2.5 million fans. $75 million in gross revenue, the highest grossing tour in history at that time. And at every single show, fans left disappointed. They'd paid over $30 a ticket, astronomical in 1984. One fan leaving a show complained, "Why didn't he do Thriller? That's the whole reason I came." Michael heard the complaints, but he was caught between two impossible choices: perform the song and risk being disfellowshipped from the Jehovah's Witnesses, losing his mother's approval and his eternal salvation, or refuse to perform it and disappoint millions of fans. He chose his faith, and it destroyed him inside. In March of 1984, right before the Victory Tour began, Michael won 8 Grammy Awards in one night, still a record. The next morning, according to LaToya's biography, A Jehovah's Witness elder gave him an ultimatum. Choose between music and the religion. Michael couldn't make that choice. Not yet. So he drew a line. No Thriller. That was too far. On January 27th, 1989, Michael Jackson finished his Bad World Tour, 123 concerts, 4.5 million fans, $125 million in revenue. And for the first time in his career, Michael Jackson performed Thriller live on stage. It happened during the Bad Tour, which began in September of 1987. And it wasn't a coincidence. In 1987, Michael officially left the Jehovah's Witnesses. Church elders in Woodland Hills, California, had been pressuring him for years. They felt the publicity surrounding Michael was damaging to the religion. His lifestyle, his career, his videos, all of it conflicted with their strict beliefs. Michael finally made his choice. He left the church, and once he was free, he added Thriller to his set list. The performance was everything fans had been waiting for. Red leather jacket, backup dancers dressed as zombies, choreography inspired by the short film. For the first time, Michael could perform his biggest hit without fear. But it came at a cost. The Jehovah's Witnesses normally shun former members. Families are required to cut off contact. Katherine Jackson stayed in touch with Michael despite the church's rules, but the relationship was strained. Michael performed Thriller on every tour after the Bad Tour. It became a centerpiece of the Dangerous World Tour in 1992, the History World Tour in 1996. Always there, always a highlight. Always one of the moments fans anticipated most. But those 3 years, from 1984 to 1987, when Thriller was at its peak and Michael refused to perform it, those years showed something deeper. A man caught between the person the world wanted him to be and the person his faith demanded he become. The Jehovah's Witnesses shaped Michael's worldview, his humanitarian work, his focus on children, his belief in peace and nonviolence. But the religion also tried to control his art. They wanted him to be less sexual, less theatrical, less Michael Jackson. In the end, he chose his art. But it took years. During those years, millions of fans went to Victory Tour concerts expecting to hear the song that defined the 80s and left without it. The band members who played on the Victory Tour rarely talk about it. The whole experience was tense. Michael and his brothers barely spoke. They traveled separately. They stayed on different hotel floors. When the tour ended in December of 1984, Michael announced from the stage at Dodger Stadium that it was the last time he'd ever perform with his brothers. He was done compromising, done trying to please everyone. 3 years later, when he finally performed Thriller live for the first time, it wasn't just a song. It was a declaration of independence. Here's what nobody talks about. Michael Jackson spent the peak years of Thriller being told by religious leaders that the thing that made him famous was evil, that the video that defined his career was satanic, that he needed to choose between his soul and his art. For 3 years, he tried to do both. He toured, he performed, but he drew a line, and millions of fans paid the price. When he finally broke free in 1987, he never looked back. Thriller became a permanent part of every show. The zombies, the choreography, the theatrical production he'd been afraid to do, all of it came roaring back. The song Michael Jackson refused to perform became the song he couldn't stop performing. And every time he did it, every time he rose from that casket on stage, every time backup dancers surrounded him in torn clothing and zombie makeup, he was making a choice. The choice he couldn't make in 1984. The choice to be himself no matter what it cost. If you want to hear more untold stories about the legends who changed music history, subscribe to King of Pop and hit that like button. Stay tuned for more content.